So you should probably share your mermaid because you brought a mermaid.
Yeah, I pulled my mermaid out because I had to. Well, oh gosh.
What?
So she's in a timeout. I'm switching this one. This is Bluebeard's Princess by Mirabilia.
Your first mermaid, Erica.
It's my first one, and it's been a lot of fun actually. But I have to tell you, I don't like her face. Now, it's sad to say that actually, right? Because when Nora Corbett makes her design, and specifically the mermaid, she has said, you know, as soon as she paints the face and she gets the face, like that dictates the feel for the entire piece. And once she can get finalize the face, she knows exactly what the whole mermaid's gonna look like. And so there's a fair bit of significance in, you know, the faces that she chooses, and I feel really bad, but I thought that I think I'd like to rechart the face. And I tried recharting it, and it's in a timeout because it looks terrible. So here's, let's see if you can see that better. How blurry is that there? Can you see it? I can't really tell. Does it look blurry?
A little bit. There, it brings it back a bit.
So the face, I don't know what it is about it. Like it's a bit maybe elfy, or it's got a really, so there's also no shading. There's no definition in her face, a little bit in the jawline, but
yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know.
She has a lot of skin, and her hair is epic in this stitch. And all I see in my mind is like forehead, just sort of like a straight.
She's got a really big cheek, really big cheek. But now that's why I have looked very closely at a lot of her other mermaids and just kind of like, oh, how can I make this one a bit different? And a lot of her mermaids, you know, their face is going up, and so their nose appears quite flat. This face, it's a side profile, and her nose is turned up a fair bit. I don't know. And so I almost don't want to share the one that I recharted because her chin is so beefy. She looks like a witch. But I'll share it with you guys just so you can share my disaster. It's going to have to come out, and I have to decide what I'm going to do.
Yes, but the rest of your stitching is beautiful.
Yes, so maybe don't look at the face yet. So you get it's a terrible face. It's a super beefy chin. And we thought, okay, we're going to stitch that. We're going to put it away for a few days and just see what we think. And now that it's been away for a few days, it's horrendous. I hate it. I had it backstitched, and it did look better backstitched. But the instructions of this one, oddly enough, call for 2 strands of the 3371, which is unusual for...
To backstitch a face is usually a very delicate process. Usually 1 strand, which you might want to change.
Well, and so then I looked at Instagram posts, and a lot of people have done, it's 50-50, 2 strand or 1 strand. And her face does look a lot better backstitched for sure than it does now. It looks a lot more feminine. But yeah, I need to
play around with that a little bit.
She's got a witchy jawline.
You know what I suggest? Is maybe stitching it how it's charted and see if it still bugs you and enough to try and change it.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because changing a face I think would be really challenging to do. And I think, I don't know. I do want to say that this is a 32 count Laurel linen.
Oh yeah.
I'm dying.
Wichelt.
I'm dying. I want to try this so bad.
Look at this. So her hair here is amazing. Look at the colors even up top. So this will be all beads, and there's no kreinik, it's all beads that goes in there, and her comb is all beads as well. Right? Hi, that face. Yeah. But it was so much fun to stitch that. Those colors, I flew through it.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's still beads to go up top in that crown. But when we look at the pattern, like I chose this one because, again, this is one where you look at it and you think, oh, it's pretty. But then you see other people's posts online, and it is gorgeous. Like those little, why is it so blurry? Is that better there? The seahorses are stunning. And her whole, the whole beginning here, like the belt that swoops over they're all jewels. It's so pretty.
Like,
I cannot wait
like
to
looking at
stitch
this
that.
looks very, very beautiful, but like you haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet.
The hair was good.
Yeah.
And then I thought about, you know, do I do 1/1 skin? And I've decided not to.
There's a lot on this one.
Because I've got a couple on the go that have 1/1 skin right now, and there's a lot of skin here. That would take
a long time. Well,
I don't know. I would do it if I didn't have my other two on the go, maybe that were 1/1.
This is so pretty, Erica.
And the fabric is gorgeous. Like, love the color.
Like, I hear a lot of people, like, when they're like, oh, it calls for Laurel linen. I'm going to change it. That's what I hear.
I was going to change it too.
Yeah, no.
I'm glad I did.
This is so good.
It's so pretty.
Oh my gosh. Like,
yeah.
Those colors are meant to go on this fabric.
Yeah, it's
like,
so nice.
I could see, like, when you're stitching a mermaid, you think ocean and waves and the modeling and the fabric. Like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
However, sometimes the colors that are in the chart that are popping off the fabric the right way,
yes,
it speaks by itself.
Because I did that too. I initially was like, oh, I'm gonna get like an opalescent, variegated, like think Sharky Stitcher. Like,
oh, I love her stuff though.
You know,
yeah.
One of her fabrics, like something like that, right?
Yes.
And I had so many different ones. I had it like in my cart ready to go, a couple different options coming, and then I was like, you know what though? You're going to lose. All of this is just going to blend right in. Like, what is your focal point? Is it the fabric or is it like the colors in the piece itself, right? So,
and this is your first mermaid too. Like I would, you know, like just experience the whole thing. And maybe if you stitch another mermaid down the road, if you're like, okay, now I'm feeling a little more, let's switch it up on this one, or you know, it's a different colored fabric that you would think it would look better on a different one. Like you could play around. I just feel for this one, like,
keep it the same. Her face doesn't look so bad now that I'm looking at it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you might actually just like trust the process, stitch it how it's supposed to be stitched, and see if it's like something. I mean, now that you've stitched this, you'd be like, oh no. I don't like that.
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, like...
that was a bad choice.
Chart it, like stitch it how it's charted and then see. Because the picture never, like you're looking at this picture being like, I don't like it. But maybe you might actually like it.
But I really don't like that.
Yeah. But also try it with the one strand around her skin.
Yeah. I think this one, you know, the 2 strands work well because of the laurel, like on the outer edge. Like, but you know, jawline where you're stitching like over all skin color, I think it does need to be the one strand.
One strand.
Yeah, not the 2 for sure.
Totally. So, this is so pretty. Wow. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, it'll be good.
So good.
Okay.
I only have this one left, so why don't you talk about that one, your new chart?
Yeah, you know what I noticed? I think there's chocolate on it.
No way. Really?
There's something.
Yeah, there's a little spot.
There's something there. That, or I see this on the pattern and it looks like maybe it could be a drip.
Weird.
Of blood.
No.
Don't you think? Okay, so.
Yeah. But no, I don't know what that is.
I don't know either. Okay. So I got this book.
Your sampler book. I'll go grab it.
Okay, it is right there under my iPad. I got this book. I can't remember who recommended it. Brenda Combs, maybe? Or...
This is a popular book.
It is. There was someone had recommended it, and I picked it up, and it's called Ultimate Samplers Motif Source Book, and it's by Brenda Keys. And it has been so much fun to have this, and I thought that I just want to play around with, you know, some designing and just throwing some of these motifs in there and seeing what things look like, you know. And so I had also, I'm usually very prepared, right? We've got this whole list of like everything and all of our resources. Not today, we don't.
Yeah.
I have an app on my iPad called maybe Stitchy or something. I don't know.
There's an app you're using.
There's an app.
Yeah.
And so I have designed a little pattern and I'm stitching it. And I might release it maybe. I'm not sure yet.
We're going to stitch it up first.
I'm gonna stitch up first, yeah, and see how it goes. And I've made a couple little changes as I've gone along, but it's called Under the Garland of Moonlight, and this is what it looks. Oh,
black and white photo.
There's
something on the back there.
That's what it looks like. And so the idea is, I guess I could put a color picture in here too, is that it's supposed to just kind of look like, you know, fall, not Halloween, but you know, a little bit spooky. And so it's been a lot of fun. So I started it. I'm stitching a 40 count vintage country mocha because that's what I had in my stash. And for the most part, I'm just using DMC, and there's, I think, only one specialty floss in here. So I'll show you what I've started with. I've done the inside, started the inside of the design. I haven't done the outside border, which is quite significant. Well, if we can, we've got no boards here either. I put it on the book. How's that? Does that work?
Of course, yeah, that's great.
Something like that.
Oh, it's pretty.
Okay.
I've been watching Erica stitch this.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, you'll get the gist of it, but there you go. And so this has been so much fun to stitch. So I did this moon, and you know, halfway through the moon even, I was like, I can't really see the colors, and no, we just stitched the whole thing, and then was like, oh no, it looks good. And then there's a tree with a giant crow that will be standing on the house, and there's a moth. And then there's this urn that goes all the way up with some flowers. And then the house will go in the middle here. And then there's quite a bit of green grass underneath, and some more flowers, and like a carriage. Let's show it there. But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying kind of just playing with the colors too, because sometimes, you know, it looks good on the iPad. That's the other thing. It looks good on the iPad, and then you pull it out and you're like, I don't really see much of a difference between these colors, you know. And then what do you have with you? Because I didn't bring any of my floss.
Yeah.
Right? So just kind of working with what we've had, but it's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Love the moon.
Yeah.
And it's funny, as she was stitching it and putting it together, it did happen that when it wasn't all complete, there were like, do I have enough definition? Can you see the craters in the moon and that sort of thing? And now that it's stitched and you've got that black crow and you've got the moth beside, like, it's so cool. It's so cool.
It's looking good.
Yeah, I love it. And let's talk about the flowers going up here. How there's some, there's a variegated floss in there, the sort of the peachy.
I can't really see it.
The peachy orange. Let's go closer. The peachy orange.
How many hands to hold this up?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like an orange in there. So that was a Weeks Dye Works color. And what I decided to do, I'll let go of my side, is in the design, I have some pumpkins, which maybe I'll just put a clip in because you can't really see in the black and white picture, but there's pumpkins to the bottom of the house. And I had bought that orange for that color.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna change those pumpkins to like the white and green. So they'll look very similar to the moon.
Yeah.
And they'll all be clustered over here.
I love it. I love that idea.
So yeah, it will be good. But now I've got a little something on there. I don't know what that is. There's a little tiny dot. You know who'd be proud of me with that? The thread gremlins. Look at that right there. It's either chocolate or blood, one of the two. And I say blood because, doesn't that look like a blood drip to you? And that's on the pattern. And we are also in Winnipeg, and there are some fat mosquitoes flying around here. So it's very possible that, you know, is from a mosquito.
Beautiful job, Erica. I think it's really, really cool so far.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm excited to stitch the border. The border is really, it's big.
Yeah.
But it will be fun to do.
My favorite part is the crow and the moon and the moth too. I mean, all of it is really pretty. I mean, as you were stitching the urn and the flowers, I was like, oh, wow, that's looking really good. It's really looking really good. Yeah.
But even from a design point, like in the urn at the bottom here, there was like another brown that was stitched in through here. And I had stitched it and was like, no,
I don't like it.
It doesn't work. It was way too warm on like a cool brown. So I end up taking it out, and I might stitch another brown when I get home, but maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe not. I think it looks good like how it is.
And the house is all like this, like a burgundy pinky color. I don't know, it'll be quite different for sure, but it's kind of fun. So we'll see. I'll stitch it up and see
all
what
the
the consensus is. And
you found in this book?
most of them. Not, yeah, most of them.
A good chunk of them? Like, what about, like, here's the tree?
Yeah. Yeah, the tree. And then I changed a little bit because, you know, I made it larger. I added more leaves. And then I had that, like, the pumpkin patches below there. So designing something that's a bit similar with the leaves and stuff. So there's, I'd say probably 70%, maybe a little less than 70% from the book.
It's really cool. There's like churches in here and houses and tons of different people, the border. Is there any Quakers in here?
Yeah, you just went past it.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it looks kind of more like snowflakes almost, but keep going.
Crowns.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, there's some there. Yeah, really pretty. I like the crown.
It's enough to get the creative process going and seeing if you're enjoying that.
Yeah, all the trees and birds, all the different kinds of birds you could think of. Like, wow, look at that, 2-3 pages.
You can make your own sampler out of there, Sam.
Yeah, there's an owl.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lots of good
I'm
stuff
gonna have
in
to
there.
get this book. That's really fun. The Ultimate Sampler Motif Source Book.
Yeah,
Totally.
really fun. All right.
Okay,
We'll save the best for last.
Yeah.
Always best for last. Okay.
Yep. All right, so I'll start with a little story of how this started out. A part of the guild, every guild meeting, there's always like a prize at the end of the day. They do like a little draw. You put your tickets in and you can win a thing. And I had seen on the top of the pile, there were 2 charts, lavender and lace. One was Angel of Spring and the other one was Firefly Berries. Yeah. And I saw the 2 charts and I was like, that has to be mine.
Yeah.
And I only brought $5 with me that day. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to win this.
$5.
I only had $5, so I spent all my $5 on all the tickets that I could get and put it all in for that draw. And that night, actually, I was like running late.
$5.
I only had
$5. You can't get anything for $5.
I know.
Cup of coffee, not enough money.
I was like, that's all I have.
Get a dollar store candy.
And I was really hoping that I was going to win that those charts, and there was other stuff that went with it too. Anyways, long story short, I ended up winning. And I came home, I filmed a video about getting this chart, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to stitch it. And this is Angel of Spring. Now there's a really wonderful story behind this chart. Eric and I have been friends since we were 14 and 15 years old. And it was one of the things that we connected on. I had recently started cross stitching. She had recently started to learn how to cross stitch, and I had mentioned it to her that, hey, I got this cross stitch pattern that I'm just starting to learn how to do. And she's like, oh, I cross stitch. And I was like, what? No way. And that just...
Like I've done like one little mini... Done cross stitch? Right, I've done one little mini project before. That was it.
Yeah. And I just thought like, oh, this is so cool. We could stitch together.
Yeah.
And we did. Like our whole friendship all through high school, we stitched on the same project. You stitched on Angel of Spring.
Yeah.
And I stitched on My Teddy Bear's Picnic. And all through high school, like on a Friday night, we'd be renting a movie and stay up all night and stitch. And, you know, and yeah, we just have, I have so many wonderful memories of us stitching together. And the Angel of Spring is something that I saw Erica stitch on for many, many hours. And when I saw the chart and I won the chart, I was like, I think I'm gonna stitch it. And it started this whole thing. I was like, Erica, you haven't finished yours yet. Your oldest work in progress. So share a little bit about your story on that.
So we had, I guess, I don't know, when you had started your, oh, I'm stitching. And I was like, well, I have nothing to stitch. Because I had gone to Europe with my parents and Mom bought a little, you know, sunflower stitch to keep me busy, and it was done. And so there was this little shop in Rutland in Kelowna.
Yep.
And we went up there and I must have just been like, oh, that's the prettiest thing I could find in the store, so I bought it. And we knew nothing about like beading or kreinik or like, you know, lavender and lace. Like,
what's that?
Yeah. So anyways, I remember being like, I'm spending all my money. that I had on cutting this up. Like, it took all my money. And I think my mom had to have driven us there because I remember I didn't quite have enough, and so she had to obviously
step in,
pay for the difference. and we had started it, and then I don't know at what point, like, it just kind of got tucked away. Probably when I moved to the Lower Mainland, I think. Somewhere around there, and then you moved to Winnipeg, so we both left Kelowna and went different directions, and then that was that. I don't think I ever stitched on it again. I had a couple other lavender and lace at that, and at that time, that would have been 98, 99, right? And so lavender and lace was the big thing, and Mirabilia, they would have just started releasing.
Yeah, I thought it was late 90s that. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like
must have just been coming out, right?
There's 1998 charts from Mirabilia, I think. Like back then, she had just started.
There has to be something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we, I stitched a lot of lavender and lace at that time, right? That was the thing. And then it got tucked away, and then you kind of called me out on it. And was like, you did not finish this.
I've been waiting for you to finish that.
And I'm like,
over the years, I remember phone calls and being like, Erica, when are you going to finish your Angel Spring?
Okay, here's the reason why though. And you guys probably already know the reason if you watch our videos, but the white, which I've recently learned is not white, it's light blue, had discolored. So, you know, it very much was like half of the angel was this one color, and then there was a clear line, and then it was another color. And it looked almost like, could it be an issue, I assumed, of, you know, acid-free dyes, how at that time Creative Memories was a thing, everything started going acid-free. Did that happen with DMC? I don't know. But all of a sudden I have one color and then clearly a second color. And so I had pulled it out and thought, I didn't know what to do, right? It was so bad. Do I throw it out? I can't throw it out, but I want to throw it out. It's not my style. What do I do?
Yeah.
And so everybody chimed in. So many great comments, so many
helpful ideas.
And like wise comments of people that have been like, I have stitched for 50 years. And when I see that discoloration and I see those imperfections, and you can see the story of stitching there, right? Where you had started stitching that when you were 14 and your stitches look like crap. To all of a sudden, you know,
the evolution of your stitching.
And being able to see that, and people commenting and saying, you can't fundamentally ever throw that away because of what has been stitched into that piece. And I was like, oh, yep, okay, that's fair. So I decided to wash it, and it came out beautifully. It actually worked so well. And then the question was, what do I stitch with it? Do I try and grab a different color and match it up to what, you know, it looks like right now? Or do I just stitch with the called for color and realize there could be, you know, a difference there? What do I do? And so I decided to roll with the called for colors. And you really don't see much of a difference. So my plan is I'm gonna finish it, I'm gonna stitch it, I'm going to wash it one more time.
At the end?
Yep, and then I will beat it, and then I probably will frame it, just because it's not really, again, my style. I'm gonna hang in my house, but I'll hang it somewhere. Maybe I'll hang it like in my closet or something so that I see it, you know, because it means a lot, right?
Yeah.
There's so many hours that we spent together, and even just growing as individuals, and you know, there's so many good memories in there, right? So do you want to share?
Well, basically,
how do you want to share them?
Well, usually.
So that's my story.
Yeah.
Mine.
So I basically have decided that I'm going to stitch this as well, because, you know, we live far apart, and every time I pick this up to stitch on it, I'm going to think of Erica.
Are you going to cry? You can't cry in a Flosstube.
Yeah.
We decided we'll stitch it together this summer because it's so important, right? And for me to pull it back out after like 25 years or 20 years, and for Sam to be able to start hers and for us to do that piece together is really, I don't know, it's special. It's special for us, right? It's so cheesy.
I know. I'm getting go emotional. It's so stupid.
I love it.
Anyways, I got to start on mine.
Love it.
The other night, I had put my fabric on the Q-snap, figured out where the middle of the chart was, and I have been having so much fun. Seriously.
This was my favorite part to stitch this. Like those greens, like the 500 to 504s,
yeah,
are gorgeous. And I remember I started in the exact same spot,
right in the middle,
and I blew through those greens and was like, oh, and I was disappointed because they were done.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen to me.
But it's, I mean, it's beautiful, right? Like, so she, oh, your card's different than my card.
It's faced a different way.
It is, yeah.
Interesting.
But it's just the little bit right in here that you you ended up stitching this little bit right there.
Yeah.
And it's a good spot to start.
Oh yeah.
Love it. And then you can get into those painted ribbons. Oh, it's going to be so pretty.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting, this always happens to me when I start a new project. I always look forward to getting the color, the first time that color goes into the fabric, right? Yeah. It's like a new experience each time. It's like,
and it looks so good on this fabric too.
Yeah. This is a 32 count smoky pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoky pearl by Zweigart.
It looks so good.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
And you know, you guys, I don't see any lavender and lace stitches out there. Like, do people still stitch them?
Yes, yes.
Where are they?
They're out there.
They're not using the hashtags. Because if I'm searching lavender and lace, nothing comes up.
What?
So if you guys are stitching it and posting it, use the lavender and lace hashtag. Because I want to see it. She has some really beautiful. Okay, and if you don't know, you probably know, but Marilyn, the designer of this is Nora Corbett's mom. And she's since passed away, but she did lavender and lace and Told in a Garden and Butternut Road. And they are all, you know, only in the last year I've looked back at them and I'm like, oh, Told in a Garden, I could stitch every single one.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
I love them. And then Butternut Road, I really like a lot of them too.
I don't have a single Butternut Road chart yet, but I plan to. I want to start collecting.
There's some good ones. There's some really good ones.
What I've discovered too by stitching this lavender and lace, just opening it up for the first time, the paper feels, you know, it's all folded different, like it's different. But then at the same time, as I'm reading the chart, I'm like, oh, this is Nora Corbett. Like there's things that Nora Corbett has learned from her mother and put into her own, like it's similar in a way that it's like it could have been the same designer. Yeah. Like if they had evolved, you know.
The flow of the stitching too. Yeah. Like when you're looking at the design, you're looking at those, nobody does ribbons like Nora Corbett except for her mother, right? Like, I mean, look at those. Like you can just, it is so much fun to stitch that. You can't stitch that and say, I didn't enjoy that.
No.
It's amazing.
This used to make me jealous back in the day when you were stitching those ribbons. I'd be like, oh, I want to work on a chunk like that. Like, I want to stitch a ribbon.
So good.
Yeah.
So good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, really, really fun.
And lavender and lace, like all those angels, they all have ribbons. And they're all great ribbons.
Really, really beautiful.
So good.
And, you know, since I've started talking about this design and sharing it on Instagram the other day that I was starting this project, people have been reaching out to me and sharing like, oh, I love that one. I've kitted it up too. Or I have that one, I finished it. Here's the frame piece that I did. Yeah. Like it's been around since 1993.
It's a good piece.
People back in 93, like if you're a stitcher who has been around for a long time, you probably have some lavender and lace in your collection.
Absolutely.
Right? Like
my mom stitched it, my aunt stitched it. Yeah. You know, and even my mom had stitched, she's stitching something for all the grandchildren. And what's interesting is the two pieces she stitched for my son and daughter, my oldest two, are actually Marilyn's #1 and #2 designs. Like first and second designs ever. And she had no idea when she had selected them those were #1 and #2.
No way.
It's crazy. Yeah. But I mean, she has such beautiful designs. I just yeah. And something about like the whole Amish feel with, you know, the Told in a Garden. It
makes me want to get
and they're fun. Like it's like they're a sampler too, because you have all these little motifs that you're doing along the way, right?
Actually, the last time I was really searching for something easy to do, I had picked up my farmer's market.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is good quality fun. Like this is simplicity, fun stitching.
And the colors are nice.
The colors are fun. Yeah, it was, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I can't wait to stitch on that some more.
Yeah.
You know, to get that experience. But I want to start collecting the older charts. Like I used to think that I couldn't collect. Like I would buy a pattern, I would kit it up and stitch it. That's how I did. And now I'm like, I want to collect the lavender and lace charts and put them in my collection and dream about stitching them all day, you know, like, and the butternut road and the toad in the garden. Like I want to collect them.
There's some good ones.
There's some good ones. Sure. I don't want to miss out the opportunity to get my hands on one, you know, for in 10 years and 20 years from now when I want to stitch one, I'll have it. Yeah. You know,
so. For sure. Okay.
Show yours.
Here's a picture of where I was when I washed it. Let's do that. And I still have my needle's on the back side of this. So I have put 2 and a bit. I did a little stitching this morning, but 2 like very full days of like 8 to 10 hours of stitching.
You've been stitching.
And this is where I'm at. I don't know how well we'll be able to see it, but
oh my gosh,
can you see that?
So pretty. Stop it. This is
so
pretty.
I have done these 2 birds, all this confetti, and all of this white. Well, okay, it's not. It's like what 37, 5, 3, 5, 6, and 5, 0.
Something like that.
Something like that. And I'm like, that's why I put it away, because all I have left is all this white and confetti. I mean, who wants to do those? Not me.
The flowers are so pretty though.
They're gorgeous. You can go closer with the flowers maybe.
Okay.
They're like, it's a big piece too. Like this is gonna be expensive to frame this for sure. So the spaces that you see around the flowers there, those are beads that need to go in through there. And then the third bunch of flowers on the bottom is incomplete. I haven't finished, but the other 2 are done. And then essentially I just have another one swoop here and another swoop there. And then that stitching will be done. And then there's a whole bunch of gold that needs to go in through here. Yeah. And the gold, show that.
Yeah.
Do I have that? We're not sure if DMC makes this stuff anymore. It's called DMC metallic thread. I mean, they must.
I'm gonna go check and see if it's on your table. Unless you have it there.
Because I don't have it here actually.
It stumped me. Here it is.
And there's been times over the years I've looked at that and been like, oh, I should throw that. Like, what is that even for? I should just throw it out.
Good thing you
didn't. And I didn't. Yeah. But this,
it's a spool of DMC sparkly floss.
Look, that.
Stella. Shush. We have big windows. Oh, she's laying down now. But she's always looking for, you know, deer that walk by. Yeah, or like a chipmunk or a squirrel or something. So she's laying on her carpet. Looking out the window.
Now. Yeah. So it says DMC metallic floss, and it's 282. And the funny thing is I actually think it calls for 284, but it would have been a situation of being at the store saying, oh, they don't have that one. And, you know, back in the day, they'd be like, well, just get this one. It's 2 numbers off. Okay.
And it's sparkly gold.
That's what I've done.
Yeah. So
I'll probably finish stitching with this, and then I'll probably just send the spool to you.
Yeah, because I'm going to need it.
Exactly. Because there's a lot on, well, not a lot actually, 40 meters, but there's going to be enough to do 2 for sure.
It's all those squares in between. And I think this is a Marilyn design that she did in a lot of hers, where she left those X's and it was, you know, either an accent color or sparkly floss. Because I don't see Nora do that. I think that is something her mom did in a lot of her designs.
They used to work together, right? Like her mom was designing first, and then Nora started helping her out. And I mean, they're gonna you're gonna see similarities between the two of them for sure.
One of the things that I saw in an interview one time was she had said, you know, sometimes I hear my mom's voice when I'm designing a chart or something.
How cool is that?
Yeah, like she speaks to her and says like, not the right color, or I don't know, or, you know, change it like this. Remember, I taught you how to do, you know, that sort of thing. That's special.
So cool.
Yeah, that's really special. No wonder why we love all of their charts so much.
Yeah. So I still have some fill to do in here. And then there's a harp, like there's a harp, a bow, a bow that goes through it. And then some beads that come along. But I'll do like the bow and the beading last. But really pretty. I should definitely finish it. I'll be able to finish it this year for sure. Yeah, so it'll be so pretty. Oh my gosh, can we show the back? Sure. Can we show the evolution of your stitching? Don't judge me on my confetti flowers though, because I was like, whatever, I'm just getting it done. You know, back in the day, actually your stitching, like, it's not so bad. No, that's okay. There's a needle back there with her stitching still through it, but you know, the evolution of your stitching back here from, you know, the top of your angel to down at the bottom. Oh, that looks so bad there. I just like, it didn't even, it just carried it across. I remember you saying, I'm doing these confetti flowers and I'm just scooching across. I'm just doing whatever. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Way to go, Erica. I'm really happy that you have washed it. Yeah. Found a plan. Oh, and the other thing I should say about this, like, you guys cannot really see how sheer this is. Can you see me still through there? Not really. A little bit. It's, this is Wichelt. No, this is Zweigart linen. But it is so delicate, like frail though, almost. And I did watch Rebecca with Back Stitches Everything, and she did like a PSA a couple weeks ago saying, watch your nurge hoops because it ruined your fabric. And I was like, it'll be fine. And so I had popped it on because I found some of the stitches wanted to twist a certain way, just because I think that, you know, this was all stitched in hand and it was kind of all leaning to one direction. And so when I had started stitching on it again, I was making mistakes because of that twist and the fabric wanting to be pulled. And so I thought, oh, I'll just pop it into my nurge. And then when I popped it out of my nurge, I was like, oh my God, Rebecca was right. Because it did leave like, the fabric is so delicate, and I think it's just that those flax fibers over those years, they get softer, they start breaking down, and it was a problem. Like, it was shiny, and then also it just separated, like some of those fibers just got pushed way over to the right, and I didn't tighten it, I just popped the frame on and I worked on it. But those frames are tight, which I love, but maybe listen to Rebecca and don't use it on a delicate fabric, because it did, like, I had to go back with my needle and pull each of those fibers back over. And it looks okay. I'm able to tell where it happened. I have since stitched the rest in hand. Yeah. Because I'm just like, I can't use that on this fabric. It's too, I think just with it being old, it's just too delicate. Too delicate. I can't handle it. Yeah. Stitch it in hand. Yeah. But it feels different too, right? Yeah. Like, it feels old. It feels super, super floppy and soft. And even when I'm stitching, like, those fibers, they are like, they just want to move. They just wiggle over. Yeah. There's no problem. I'm just going to move over. And then I'm like, I've miscounted because it's just slid over to the left. Yeah. Right? But yeah, really, I'm happy that I decided to pull it out. Me too. I'm so happy. I can't wait for you to finish it. Like, I think it's a special thing that we've done with our kids too. Like, when they've completed their first cross stitch, like, you know, it's the first one. Yeah. You've completed a project. You need to frame that and treat it with, you know, it's special. It's special to have your first one. And I agree with you. Like, even my teddy bear's picnic that was my first cross stitch, like, it was a gift for my daughter, you know, hung in her crib and above her crib kind of thing. And now it's like, it's just special in a way of like, that's my first one. Yeah. You know, I should have it out. I can take it down, put it up, you know, that sort of thing. And I think you will probably do the same thing with yours. You know, maybe. Yeah, it'll be good. I mean, it deserves to be finished, right? Like, there's a lot of experiences that for sure. It's so true. So many fun times, and I learned a lot from you while you were stitching on that. Like, I remember sitting beside you and asking you questions like, how do you stitch in hand? How do you stitch
on linen? How do you
like, I had no idea. We were just like going for it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, my mom must have guided me a little bit, right? But I didn't know.
Yeah.
I remember buying this and the lady at the store was like,
are you ready for this?
I don't know that this is really what you should be buying.
This is your first, like your second.
You know, maybe you should buy something smaller. And I was like, nope.
Eric,
take all my money. I want the big one.
That is so your personality too, to like go
always.
big or go home.
Yeah, always. Like my first quilt was like a queen size quilt. No problem. I'm point. Let's do it. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Perfect. Done.
That's so awesome.
But,
yay, I'm happy. I'm happy for us. I'm happy that you're going to finish this year. And I'm excited to have a brand new start. And I actually envision myself collecting all 4. I want to do all 4 seasons. Crazy. I think I'm going to...
Because the angel of winter, she's all white. Like, she's 80% white.
White. So maybe once I finish this one, I'll decide, you know, do I want to do another one?
You just stitch this dress.
Yeah.
And then...
and then come talk to you and see.
Yeah.
Well, this has been really fun, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and sharing our, you know, being with us while we share our stories of stitching together at the cabin. And, you know, this has been really fun. A year ago, when we filmed for the first time together, Erica went home afterwards and, you know, watched a lot of Flosstube and got inspired to start her own channel. Yeah. It all started from last year. So here we are a year later.
Still stitching.
Still stitching. Still Flosstubing.
Still sharing it.
When
you guys are still watching. I don't know.
When is your 1-year anniversary? When did you start? Was it November or something? December? October? You'll have to look it up.
It would have been probably end of October, maybe, is when I started.
Something like
that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really excited. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah, it was good.
Until next time.
Next, you have to wait a whole year.
For us to be together in one video like this.
Yeah. It was good. Thanks so much for popping by. And it's a very long video, so hopefully we haven't lost you.
And hopefully you got some really good stitching in, too.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.